Well, good morning, YouTube. We have some awesome stuff for you here today. The latest has come out from our good friend, Mr. Jeremy Corbell. My God, is anyone else watching this stuff? I got Dan on here with me to as my expert analyst for UFO footage, and Dan, tell us about how you got really good at analyzing UFO footage and identifying airplanes and other objects just based on video.
Back around 2007, 2008, there was a channel in Pine Bush, New York. A guy claimed that he was filming Orion spaceships. I'm not going to name him out by name. I'm not going to dox him. Him and I came in contact because he claimed he'd filmed the TR-3B and so forth. And what I noticed was when I changed the brightness on the video, I saw wings under the bottom of the one craft. I could actually still show it to this day. And I'm like, hey, man, that's not, and I actually saw the jet engines. I said, that is not a triangular craft from another world. It's a freaking 737 or 747, what have you. So I really started to study and evaluate all the different types of landing lights on an aircraft. With that said, I had found out that what he had said were alien spaceship lights look like headlights. They're the forward landing lights when you're on approach. When you come out of 30,000 feet and you start coming down out of the clouds and you're heading on approach to land, and you're pretty visible. You're no longer above the clouds. You have what looks like a set of headlights on. They're your forward landing lights, and typically on a like 747, something like that, a big commercial jet, you'll also have one on the nose. But it literally looks like a set of headlights in the air. Then you will have your two red anti-collision lights, which strobe. They pulse. I think it's like every second and a half they pulse. They pulse, as you can see in this video right here. But you also have on the wingtips, you have a red and a green light, which will also tell your orientation of the craft.
In the direction that's going.
It's coming towards you. The red light will be on the right-hand side. The green light will be on the left-hand side. Michael Schratt's really good at this because he's a pilot. But I actually went to an airport and had guys go over some stuff with me and say, what do you think this is? And every one of them were like, not talking about this video, like this is an airplane.
So this is the new one. This is the newest one from Corbell, and Mick West is already calling it airplanes. Thunder, it's already, the debunkers just jumping all over this. This looks to me like the straw man tactic, because how does this guy Jeremy Corbell get access to Fox News, Tucker Carlson, all these big, huge mainstream platforms, right? Fox, he's on all these big mainstream platforms getting hundreds of thousands of views. One day ago, 74K views, right? And he goes and
he's on the news live right now if we look. But go ahead.
How does he get access to such large platforms to go on there to show videos of fucking airplanes and that get just easily debunked? And he let's just listen to some of the stuff that he says on here. Also, another people have pointed out too, like Jeremy Corbell now compared to Jeremy Corbell 4 years ago is like a completely different actor. He's clearly, he's definitely been coached or given lessons. Because look at the
show
way
radar data.
He has these he looks right into the camera. He smiles, facial expressions, all this stuff. Like, oh look, I know what I'm talking about here. Let me explain this to you.
He calls himself a UFO expert.
This guy says he's a UFO expert. He knows jack shit about UFOs. This guy
a couple of airplanes.
Radar screen.
He keeps showing pictures of airplanes, claiming he's this UFO expert. He's the authority on all this stuff.
Pentagon.
One of the things that gets me right is that he keeps saying about how these things are triangle. He won't use the word triangle. He will use the word pyramid. And
we have now doing that also. I'll send you the link to that again because this ain't the video where he says it was on TMZ, for God's sakes. They had him on a couch. When did TMZ start doing UFO videos? And it was entangled with Fox News, which is very bizarre. I did not know TMZ, which is a tabloid, and on a TV tabloid, with an attorney is doing UFO videos now. I want you to see that, where Knapp himself calls it a pyramid. And I told you where I'm pretty sure where they got that pyramid thing from. But go ahead, Jeremy.
But then there's this other, where's the other thing? I thought I saved it, I shared it on here. It was this NASA talking points. Have you seen that thing about the NASA documents?
No, you told me about that.
I think this was on Black Vaults. NASA document talking points, Black Vault. So they found a declassified document from like NASA with talking points on UAP and UFOs. So it leads to this whole question: are they going off a script? So I have been saying this for 3-4 years now, that they're going off a script, that everything that's being rolled out in mainstream ufology, in the mainstream media, and how it presents ufology to the public, I think it's all being carefully rolled out. It's all these talking points, and they're all going off of a script.
And how about if they refuse to admit a flying triangle? It's got to be a pyramid. And Jeremy, I just put the link down below in the messenger again about the pyramid, where it's only a 27-second video where Knapp insists it's a pyramid, that it's not a triangle, it's a pyramid. And that's all anti-Edgar Fouche stuff. And
yeah, it's all anti-Edgar Fouche. So now you look up flying triangle. Now, you used to search flying triangle, right, and UFO, right? You used to get all of the TR3B stuff. You used to get all TR3B. Look what comes up now.
Yep.
It's
Jeremy Corbell.
Corbell. First 3 videos, Corbell. First 5-6 videos, Corbell. Look,
you can't find that
anymore. You cannot find anything about the TR3B, Edgar Fouche. Look, we can even put TR3B right there in the search results and show you.
He won't come up.
It doesn't come up anymore. It's gone. He's been erased from the internet. People talk about Bob Lazar. Oh, they erased Bob Lazar. His whole history is erased. Dude, he's all over. He's on Joe Rogan. Everybody knows about Bob Lazar. That dude was not erased. Edgar Fouche got erased. He's been erased. And we get people. Yeah. I got people calling me up, and like I got Ryan
Sprague,
UFO Jesus, and Ryan Sprague saying that. Saying that Ed was an admitted liar, that he admitted to lying, making the whole thing up, and we never proved that Ed was a liar. We tried hard to out that guy, man. We were really skeptical and analyzed that case in a lot of detail.
Well, there was a video where it said Ed was lying.
I cannot say definitively.
No, wait a minute. What's that say? Mix is dedicated to Edgar Fouche. I've never seen that before.
What is that? A year ago? J Element 115. Weird. Huh.
Never seen that
before. It's only got 160 views, but why is that the top video? It's only got 160 views. You look for Ed Fouche, that's the top video.
And your videos don't even come up on Ed. You've got the entire IUFOC. Whereas
it eventually comes up and it's here, but I wonder what if other people search for it and still find this, because you can find my stuff on here, but man, look at the view counts on these things. 59 views. This is 10 years old, and this thing's got less views than Jeremy Corbell got in the last fucking week on one video. Look at 74K views from one day ago.
If you come down, that's actually Ed standing inside the first or second, right there, the first or second F-117 stealth fighter. That's at Groom Lake. That's at Area 51, and that is absolutely Ed standing there. His daughter said it was him. It's him.
Yeah. She even identified the sweater.
He knew the names of all.
Didn't she show you a picture of like the sweater that he was wearing too? Like
she showed me. I have a lot of private photos of Ed I've never put out, and he's wearing those same clothing. She went to school in Las Vegas. They lived there for a long time because Ed bounced back and forth between Edwards and Nellis, and his main homestay was Las Vegas. He loved Las Vegas. He hated Area 51 because guess what? I'd like to drink at night and have a good time. You couldn't really do that at Area 51. There was no nightlife. Yeah. You were stuck there. You were TDY there. You had to sleep there. He hated it. That's what he told me.
Yeah, but a lot of guys do. It's probably like torture. But this is my page on the TR3B. I'll post this in the live chat links, man.
Starting to really think that this whole thing is aimed at trashing Ed. Let's not call it a triangle. Let's call it a pyramid, as you said. We can show the Knapp video where he's on TMZ. It's only a 20-some second video. He says in there, "Oh, this is not a triangle. It's a pyramid. You can see that it's a pyramid." How can you see it's a pyramid from the bottom?
Yeah, he keeps saying pyramid. He won't use the word triangle. And then he was asked about TR3B. He gave this whole disinformation response on Kurt Jamungal the other day. He was asked about the TR3B, right? And I keep finding people keep sending me this stuff. So the day after Edgar Fouche died, these patents, okay, came on the internet. Like literally the day after Ed Fouche died, this triangular spacecraft patent went viral on a bunch of different top channels out here on YouTube, and other people picked it up.
And I jumped at the comments, yeah.
I jumped on it right away because I was telling people sent this to me, and they're like, "Oh, look at this! It has the whole description of the propulsion system." Even Jeremiah believes strongly that this is the real patent, and this is a real thing, even though we haven't built it and tested it. But
it was as if they waited for Ed to die and then put it out there.
This guy's got a lot of other weird patents. This inventor, John St. Clair, he's got one about walking through walls and stuff. But this patent wasn't even published till 2014. I think the first one, it says 2006. So this is all after Ed. Ed was 1998.
Well, Ed put the IUFO 90C, was it the IUFOC out in 1998? But I know Ed's friends, and Ed got in trouble for drawing the TR3B on the wall at I'm not going to say what contractor it was. Remember, he worked at that contracting place, and him and Woody were there, and Ed was drawing the TR3B on the wall, and some military way high up guy came in that worked there, and he was like, "You can't be drawing stuff like that," and they immediately erased it and had a big talk with Ed, and that was in '87, right after Ed retired, or '88.
Yeah, this new video that he put out is absolute garbage, and he's out there flaunting it like this is like hard proof of extraterrestrials and like that we're not alone, and all, like it's such a joke, man. I can't. I don't know. Well, let's get into some more stuff on this video. Can you say anything about this video or the recent stuff that's come out, Dan?
Well, I mean, one of the thing I wanted to show you, I sent it into your messenger. It's only a 20-some second video when him and Knapp were on TMZ, where Knapp just calls it a pyramid. The green bokeh.
It seems like an anti-collision light. They're moving at a fast pace with the ship, and at some point the ship stalled out or slowed down, and they hovered. So they're able to show controlled, intelligent movement. This event is a massive.
It doesn't show any of that.
50, here we go.
100 unidentifieds, unknown.
You can really see the pyramid shape. It's just sort of rotating.
Yeah. Where
can you see the pyramid shape rotating? It doesn't rotate.
It's as if they're absolutely focused on, hey, this is not a triangle. The way Ed described it to me was that the TR3B, if the length of the TR3B was 200 feet per side, the height of that TR3B would be 20% of that 200 feet. So you would basically have a 40 feet in height as compared to the length of the side of the craft. So it was 4 floors, which would make sense. Now, these guys trying to insist that something is a pyramid is just throwing everybody off. Can anybody else out there see the top of this craft? Because I can't from the bottom. And also remember, Jeremy, there are 2 stars that turn into quote unquote triangles or pyramids also over here that Nick West proved. Right there's one and there's the other. Those are not crafts. Those are actually one's
airplanes
a star,
with bokeh.
Yeah, the one's Jupiter and the one's a star, right? I think that's what Mick West showed because he used the sky. He literally proved it. He proved it beyond any doubt.
Yeah, Mick West destroyed that video, and I swear, like it's like a game that's being played. They have Jeremy Corbell on there to serve up this disinfo. It's like he's setting them up. He's holding the straw man out for them and being like, here's the real UFO proof. This is real UFO evidence, and this is 100% proof that of extraterrestrials and all this stuff. And he's like holding it out, and then Mick West comes in and it's like, no, this is all lies and this is all bullshit, and like this is what ufology is, and this is what they do. They roll Jeremy Corbell out there for the mainstream. They have him promote all this bullshit. Then it gets completely debunked, and they're like, look, these are UFO experts. I don't know what to tell you. These are the UFO experts. The guy's not a UFO expert. It's all.
Now, if he was, he would have recognized they were airplanes, but I think he was told to show that. Unless, is it possible that people from this USS Omaha are sending him stuff because they don't like him and they want him just to believe that a couple of airplanes flying over are UFOs?
It's ridiculous, man. I'm sorry. People are upset because, like, why are you talking about this bullshit? It doesn't matter. It's obvious.
Because it's everywhere. That's why.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. Like, I wake up to this and I see this guy's getting 74,000 views in one day, okay, for pure bullshit disinformation, 100% contrived crap. And I'm like, I have to cover it. I have to call this guy out because people are searching for this and people are looking for information on this and they want to know they want to know what's up with this. This guy is a fraud. He would never, ever, ever debate the likes of a real UFO researcher like me or Dan. He would never.
Here's the thing. If he is stupid enough, and I shouldn't use that term, if he's naive enough to believe that those are alien spaceships right there, which is what he's alluding to, then what else is he showing that's garbage? That's the whole point. That's the point. What else? What projects is
everything he's done, everything he has showed us has been garbage. It's like a roadmap to what is disinformation in ufology. Just look at what Jeremy Corbell's been covering for the last 4 years.
He's like Richard Doty, and what did he call Richard?
He's Bill Moore.
Of it, his pal. The Richard Doty is him and George Knapp's good pal. I have the picture of it, and I was just like, "What are you saying? Richard Doty's a piece of garbage." Paul Benowitz would probably still be alive if Richard Doty was not involved in his life. And remember, Paul Benowitz killed himself over what he saw at Kirtland Air Force Base. And Richard Doty was assigned to drive him literally crazy. And another organization. But Doty is not anybody to be happy with in ufology, or ufology, whatever you want to call it.
I just don't get it. They're censoring real science. So this is another thing. Brett Weinstein, he recently did this Lex Friedman podcast, and he was on Joe Rogan for an emergency podcast about this. At least this is getting its due viewership. You know, this has almost got 1 million views. So this is actually getting popular and getting some serious attention, because as I've said, and people call me a conspiracy theorist a year ago when I was telling everyone that this COVID narrative is a complete lie. They're using science and misrepresenting science to get Neil deGrasse Tyson saying, "Oh, people don't trust the science. You have to trust the science." And it's like I compare it to like the people who blew smoke up people's asses and were telling them that this was the science and that they should trust the science. We're no different now today, despite how advanced and how how much knowledge we have of medical industry and all that stuff. Despite how advanced we are nowadays, there is still, this when they push an official narrative. There's one narrative, and you can't talk out against that, or any experts who speak out against that narrative get censored or taken out. And that's exactly what we saw going on with Dark Horse Podcast. These guys are intellectuals. He brings on doctors, physicians, people who really know this stuff, and they dig through this COVID-19 bullshit and just completely expose it. And they've been doing it for months now. They got their channel censored because of it. They almost got their YouTube channel taken down. They've moved over to Odyssey, another platform, which I might be moving over to soon as well, because I'm afraid of what I can and can't talk about on this platform anymore, especially with the censorship that's going on when I start talking about real UFO information and the frauds that are put out there into the public to spread disinformation and lies.
Simultaneously, forming 9 different warships, to the best of my knowledge,
to the best of my knowledge. Okay, that's when you say something like that, it's just an excuse. It's basically, all right, what I'm saying is a lie, so I'm just going to cover my ass with saying it's the best of my knowledge.
Fashion, although different shapes with some of them, as we know from the USS Russell.
Where's the videos of them?
Overhead, and some of them.
All these videos he's released so far are absolute crap.
Well, none of the videos
he's got Leviathan's book on his bookshelf.
He maintains that there were swarms of UFOs around the USS Omaha, but he showed three ships so far, or 3 airplanes, and then he showed 2 other airplanes, it looks like, that were an apparition of the Fleer. that Mick West absolutely proved, because, like I said, a star and a planet ended up turning into that same exact shape, that same exact triangle. It's not a pyramid. I want the proof that that thing's a pyramid. Why didn't they send fighter jets up after these things? You're flying over a damn a warship, and you don't send your fighters up? I mean, that would be the first thing they would do. Am I right or wrong?
I think these things are airplanes. I think that, or either that, or they're a really low tech, low sophistication technologies, like the electronic warfare technologies that we've been talking, that Ed used to talk about, that Ed talked about in this whole. So Ed in that original, IUFOC lecture, these two. All right, if you go back and watch these, he talked all about something called ECCMs. Okay,
yep,
or electronic
Project Palladium, and the other one that T.D. Barnes talked about. Ed said that the TR-3B could actually make it look like there was a second TR-3B sitting there. And if you look up the 1990 Belgium wave, they literally, the police, for the Belgian police, are sitting there, and there's one TR-3B in the sky, and then boom, there's another one over in the sky at the same time. Then that one disappears, and then this one's still here. Then they sent some F-16s up and chased it, and they couldn't come close to this thing. But remember, we're talking about guys that only believe in jet propulsion. They believe that we have not made any advances that are classified, which you, me, and Mike Schratt definitely disagree with. You have this, your Apex show has guys on that talk about the anti-gravity effect and how it's been broken all the time.
So this is a recent article too. Someone's been sending me a bunch of stuff about, because we were talking about these ECCMs, the electronic warfare technologies they have, including the holographic projection capabilities and stuff. And I've been getting a lot of, someone's been sending me all apparently all the patents that are being filed on this are being done by Walt Disney Imagineering Company. So
I believe that. Yeah.
Disney is doing all this technology. They want to create hologram Star Wars things for, and they have the patents on all this. They talk about how they do it, how they get the hologram to look, how do they get it to look 3D to the eyes, and they have a whole bunch of this technology they're working on and developing. These are the patent drawings and stuff. Yeah, people have been sending me this stuff. They're like, wow, Disney. Imagine that Disney is doing is the one who's developing and having access to all this technology. That way they can play it off like it's just for entertainment and show kind of purposes.
Did you ever go in the haunted house as a kid and they have the ghosts flying around?
I did that at Epcot. Yep, that was like when I was a kid. That was back in the 80s.
Yes, that was the 80s when I was there, and was like, oh my God. So think about that. Just imagine what they could put in the sky.
What they can do now, and what they can put in the sky. So I think like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing from these videos and that Corbell's putting out is really low level technology. It's not something that's the real truth and the real information, the real technologies will never be shown until like they're declassified long 20 years from now. They'll be showing this stuff on TV. But the stuff that they're showing on mainstream television is contrived disinfo, and it's serving an agenda and a purpose. And the only thing that I can see this being is that they're trying to discredit all UFO researchers, all of ufology, and really turn off the scientific and skeptic community to this whole business. Basically saying that, it's just a contrived business. These people are just profiteers selling lies for money, and anyone involved in UFOs thinks they're an expert. Is really not. And the people like me who are like, no, I really am an expert. I study this stuff. I've been doing it, every day, for 17 years. Unlike Jeremy Corbell, who started, a couple of years ago, sleeping on John Lear's couch for his study.
Yeah, 5 years was there, and that's a long story. I just wanted to say something here too. Jeremy, where do you think this is leading us? This last video he's posted, if this is the best he's got, what's happening is this. There are guys with their cell phones out on the deck of the USS Omaha filming things that they don't recognize in the sky on their free time. And I honestly believe they might think they're UFOs. And they must be emailing them to him, because he says sometimes he gets 100 emails an hour and he's got to scour through videos. But if that's the best thing he can come up with, those airplanes, then he doesn't have anything. He doesn't. What do you think?
I think that's on purpose. I think they're putting out.
Our democracy has been tested before. but we've always come back stronger.
Mystery is decoded. I'm not gonna watch that. It's got ads on it, but I want to man. Oh, so here's another picture you sent me too, man. I want to show this real quick. Right?
Yeah.
There's Jeremy Corbell getting on a private jet. He's got like 1,000 likes on this, on his, you know, what, and this globe is about to happen. That's one day ago. What's about to happen? We're getting hoodwinked by a professional disinformation agent with mainstream funding, access to mainstream platforms, and access to, you know, a massive fanfare and audiences. That is a disinfo campaign. That is what is on this globe is about to happen. That's what's happening. And I called it out, and I've been calling it out and telling people this man is a fraud. I will mop the floor with his remains. I recently posted my real Bob Lazar. Remember we did the documentary after Jeremy Corbell did his Bob Lazar documentary, and I put this.
I loved what you did, and I
did this 45-minute thing.
How many views
go watch that
video you did? Oh, 81,000. Okay, well, I think it should be
almost as, you know, a little bit more for this four-year-old video. I mean, 3-year-old video. It's got a little bit more views than Jeremy Corbell got in the last day. It's like,
yeah, post the link on that video, because I think it's
right here.
Yeah, it's excellent video. I thought it should have got way more views. It shows the contradictions, and there's a lot more in there we could add now that we got the Papoose Lake pictures and some other things. But
all right, I'm gonna check out this. There's a UAP link on Reddit with Dolan apparently.
Oh, is Dolan back on the air? Okay. I mean, and Dolan is not the end-all be-all. I've seen him make a lot of mistakes, but people act like Richard Dolan is like, you know, if he says something, it's 100%. He's Jeremy Corbell's buddy. Remember, they did the fake CIA deathbed guy.
Oh, yeah, it was the
talk like this that me, you, and Michael Stratt laughed at that one night when we were partying in West Virginia.
Where's this guy right
there? He is. That Jeremy Corbell's behind
March
it.
5th, 2013. So this is when Jeremy Corbell was sleeping on John Lear's couch and first getting in.
Shakes the guy's hand. You'll see him. It's him and Richard Dolan. They were sent there by Linda Howe. Terrible.
You can't live forever, you know.
You can't live forever.
Here we go. There's the handshake.
There it is. There's Corbell coaching him like, all right, you're going to do good. We already told you what to say. We gave you the disinformation. It's cool. All right, you're going to get on here.
It's the UFO mafia. Remember, we're not invited.
Gonna have
very small group of people.
UFO mafia.
Yeah.
They're controlling the narrative, controlling the story.
He claimed he was sent with one other guy to shut Area 51 down. Him himself in the 50s, for goodness sakes. It was a ridiculous story.
Yeah, the goal is to make ufology silly. They don't need to con us all, just con the general public and make the general public get bored with this, think it's all, you know, Jeremy Dumbbell, you know, they think that all UFO people are just like Jeremy Corbell, a dud, who think that they get overly excited about stupid airplane videos and they're just mentally easily tricked so that they think that they're, you know, UFOs and not, you know, it's like, this is the whole narrative, man. It's so obvious. You talk to anyone out there.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so people didn't know. More people. I love it when we talk about people like didn't know about all those little things like that. That video, this disinfo video from 2013. You know, with Richard Dolan and Jeremy Corbell working. I don't know if they still work together. I talked to Richard Dolan. I seem to think he's like distancing himself from Jeremy Corbell now.
Well, remember when he had Jeremy on his show and he was promoting the Bob Lazar film? Jeremy was drunk and was cussing, and Richard Dolan was trying to cut him back from that a little bit. It was when he was more unpolished. He's very polished now. I'll give Corbell that. He's taken some lessons from somebody.
I think that they're coaching him on how to act, because like I've seen CIA agents who've been coached on how to act in front of camera, and it's like exactly looking straight into the camera, smiling, you know, all those things to make friends and attract attention and make people trust you and believe your lies. All the things that a liar has to do in order to manipulate his audience. This is the same kind of stuff that they coached, you know, Bill Clinton on, right? about how to just stare into a camera and lie. That was what they trained Bill Clinton to do. That's what their media guy was talking about.
Kind of strange how he got popular too. No one could get to Bob Lazar. I know that from Gene Huff. Gene Huff was going to be the guy that made the Bob Lazar documentary. Corbell somehow sneaks in. He just introduced the two of them together, and Corbell somehow talks Bob Lazar into doing this video, doing this documentary, and it really upset Huff a great deal, and people in the know that.
I wish we could somehow reach these people from TMZ. Like every time I see a story come out, I contact the author and I send them as much information as possible. I want to encourage my audience to do this as well. That anytime you see an article like covering Jeremy Corbell, make sure you write to the author and let them know that Jeremy Corbell is not the real UFO expert. It's Jeremy Riss, the alien scientist, and that this guy is a government shill, a Pentagon fraud, and probably a CIA agent out there, you know, or some kind of agent. I don't think it's CIA, right? I don't think the CIA is necessarily involved. This is bigger than that. And who would know who's behind these guys paying them, man?
Man, your guess is as good as mine.
Because they're getting a scripted narrative. They're getting these. Who the heck at the Pentagon is giving this guy these UFO videos so that he can claim like he's the expert and this high level source, and there's something more going on here behind the scenes, and we need to dig into that. We
want the crowd to throw some ideas out here. Somebody out there knows something.
Somebody knows something.
Someone that knows something. But yeah. People that are complaining that we're showing this, listen, somebody's got to. I mean, Mick West is not the only game in town. I don't buy everything Mick West says. I believe in UFOs. People that were in the comments saying the other night that I don't believe in UFOs and stuff are crazy. Jeremy and I go back so long. People are trying to say they have no clue who I am. Well, then you haven't been watching his show for 10, 12 years, because I've been coming on his show when Ed was alive. A long time ago, 2008, I think. And we used to do Edge Channel. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been doing videos and going over things. I'm not some guy that just came to this.
The thing that I have a problem with, right, is that we've developed, this is a video from 10 years ago, where it shows the scientists, researchers at a lab who developed an invisibility cloak using carbon nanotubes.
Oh, so, I remember that.
So we have invisibility tech, and I know that the government has these things in production. They're doing tons of research in this. This is like so much at so much of what's been going on out at Area 51 is invisibility research. So to think that these craft that we just see flying around with blinking lights are fucking top secret craft or aliens. People are stupid, bro. If they're interstellar aliens that can get here from other stars with warp, they have warp drive, right? So obviously they've mastered, they've mastered physics. You don't think they can be invisible and turn invisible?
Well, what he had said was,
I believe in UFOs. I believe that aliens are out there, but really they would have. I mean, I like to believe that aliens are out there, right? I don't have any proof of aliens. We have UFO videos, and I don't know. I just think that all these UFO videos are being released are disinformation, and it's hiding the real truth about what's going on.
He stated in that one video when he was talking about the green pyramids, he said, "Why wouldn't aliens use navigation lights?" I mean, are you serious?
Yeah. He has no clue. Why wouldn't they use navigation? But another one, they're going to use the navigation lights to pretend that they're airplanes, right?
Yes, so that was always one that was used too by that guy up in New York by that was filming aircraft.
They're pretending to be airplanes. Well, why don't they just turn invisible and pretend to not be there?
Their cloaking device is to pretend they're airplanes. I mean,
yeah, come on, dude.
By the way, show that video again there, the mirage effect, the nanotubes. I haven't seen that in years.
So these things are carbon.
Why isn't something like that being shown? And I want to ask a question too. Let's say that you and Mark tomorrow figured out anti-gravity, right? And we're like, had a demonstration of something, just lift off the ground and just sit there, and you couldn't affect it. There's no in and out propulsion. There's no whatever.
Right.
There's no helicopter. if you guys had that, do you think that one news station would come down and take a look at it? No. You'd probably end up in a garbage can somewhere in New Jersey. You'd end up in a landfill is probably what would happen to both of you if you figured it out. That's what I believe. I believe the same thing goes with energy, with the free energy development stuff that guys work on. Those guys seem to disappear.
Yeah, so I want to talk about you can look up lists of murdered scientists and stuff, but because I know there's a lot of scientists who are doing really weird research that have turned up dead, and there's cases of this that I don't want to bring up or talk about. But we talked about Patel and this private contractor. That's a private institute. It's not accessible by FOIA. It doesn't have to give up FOIA documents because it's a private corporation. It can claim proprietary knowledge or all these other exemptions so that they don't have to comply with national security requests and Freedom of Information Act requests. They also manage all of the national laboratories in the country. So any kind of research that goes on or any kind of breakthroughs that happen at any of our national laboratories can immediately overseen and can be scooped up by these private corporations. And then there's something called National Security LLC, right?
They have anything to do with Groom Lake? Have you ever found out? They have any? They probably have. I'm sure they have some science going on out there. Anything?
So there's this company, right? I want to show you this company I found on Bloomberg, right? It's called Lawrence Livermore National Security LLC, right?
Yep.
So it's this LLC, which is a limited liability corporation, and they hold patents. They're basically a patent or tech holding company. So what they do is any sort of invention that comes out of our national laboratories that has national security implications, this is the company that scoops up the patent and keeps it private. This is the company that rails down on the national security and the secrets of the technology and keeps that technology secret. It's called Lawrence Livermore National Security LLC. I think there's an LLC for each national lab. Each national lab kind of has their own one. That way it keeps the information compartmentalized and separate, so that no one has access to all those secret patents and all those secrets.
Divisions of one company is what you're saying.
Yeah, so I've been researching the structure of how this is organized to keep secrets, so scientific breakthroughs from the scientific community, because more scientists are asking me like, this is fucking bullshit. Like how could you cover something like this up, man? If we had free energy or anti-gravity technology, everyone would know about it and we'd figure it out and it would be published. And like, no, not at all. This is what happens. This is documented. This is proven that this is how these things happen. When these patents, anything that's invented at these national labs, it gets scooped up by these super corporations and held on to, and people don't know about it. It makes perfect sense once you look at it. And so you go looking for any of this stuff with FOIA, and they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. And it's under private. It's held under a private company, a private LLC. That's outside the government, and you don't have fucking access to it. Sorry.
And when did the search for anti-gravity officially end? Right around the beginning of 1960, right? Or was it later than that?
So,
it all went black. It all went away. Schratt's like an expert on that stuff.
So there's something called the Mansfield Amendment. All right, that's what you're talking about. People can go look this up. And this put an end, Mike Mansfield and the Mansfield Amendment with the National Science Foundation in 1971. It put a complete end to all research, like anti-gravity research and free energy research. The government ended all funding and all authorizations for any kind of research or funding without direct military implications and purposes, unless it has a relationship to specific military function. Mm-hmm. So basically, they passed this amendment, and that took away all the funding for all these secret, like all those kinds of projects and stuff. So that put a huge damper on the ability of scientific researchers to independently, discover or create these types of technologies. It's pretty amazing when you look at
even though that kid testified, that Sean Kenneth Jason or whatever, I sent you that picture of that pyramid. He claims flew out over Highway 93, which would have went straight out over Indian Springs Air Force Base, which is now Creech Air Force Base, which is the back door to Area 51, which would have went in the southeastern corner of Area 51, and then went and landed in there. I sent you that picture of the model that he made, and it is a pyramid. And him and Corbell were on the same show. It was called Mysteries Decoded. It was season 1, episode 4, Area 51. Right after Corbell was on, that guy came on there and described what he had seen on Highway 93, and it was this big pyramid, but he claimed it was ours because it had light bulbs in the bottom of it. And it's a very interesting case. I just found that very interesting. Now they're talking about pyramids a few years later. I want proof that these things are pyramids. Where's the radar data that shows the shape of it? Because I've heard Knapp and Corbell say, there's data that proves that these things were pyramids. They were not triangles. I want to see it.
I want to know more about.
Yes, so turned a star and a planet into a pyramid. Also,
I gotta find that Reddit thing on Dolan and that guy was talking about too, because I want to check that out. But someone can send me a link. So another thing is, a lot of stuff is not private. So a lot of stuff's out there if you know where to look and what to search for. Yeah. But the thing is that nobody knows what's out there and what to search for, because this is what they see in the mainstream media. So the people that are from the general public and the science community and everything, who are just getting their first introduction to what this field is all about, this is what they're seeing is Bob Lazar and Jeremy Corbell and Mick West. So it's no wonder they're going to side with Mick West and be like, oh, all this stuff's crap and it's all a bunch of bullshit, and Neil Tyson's right. And that's what's going on right now out in the mainstream, outside of our little bubble of ufology and UFO people. And not a lot of people realize that or understand that's what's going on. But Elo, I don't think you understand how radar returns function. In fact, I'm sure of it. Okay, so they can basically take the radar signal that gets put out by the radar, and they can fake or spoof the return signal, so that they can make the radar see anything that it wants. They can use the return signals to the radar antenna to basically create anything they want on radar.
Look up Project Palladium if you want.
Project Palladium and Project Nemesis. I'm going to be talking to T.D. Barnes hopefully.
That'll be awesome.
And
he claimed we were doing this in the 60s. And how did Ed know about it? Ed knew about it because Ed worked on electronic countermeasures in the Air Force. That's what Ed did.
They've been working on this technology since 1961, and that's around the time that they also created the first laser. And I think that it all coincides with the stuff when they started creating these lasers, they realized that they could shoot them at the air and create these plasma balls in the air using the lasers. And it's all been classified for decades and been researched in secret.
Hey, Jeremy, Tom S. claims about pulling that Richard Dolan leak pickup. I've never seen that. What is that?
I got to find that,
It's interesting if it's not legit. I've heard about this now for the past couple of weeks. I think
so. It's a UAP report, something. I got to find this.
Some of these people out here just don't want you talking about this. Look, Jeremy does put forth a ton of effort. Don't you watch his Apex shows and all the other stuff he's got going on? Why can't we talk about this stuff? Go back to Jeremy Corbell's page if you want to. If you want this shit.
Yeah, if you want garbage, you can go back to...
We're just trying to keep everybody focused on what is legit, what is real. These are airplanes; they're not legit.
Yeah, that's it too. Yeah. Mick West definitely has a conflict of interest with his, Metabunk site and the fact that he just makes a living off calling everything bunk.
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely.
I don't agree with everything Mick West says. I have an interview that I did with Mick West because I wanted to debate him and I wanted to, confront him and talk to him about, the different things that he covers and talks about. And I encourage people to go watch that and watch my debate with him and watch how he reacts to certain evidence that I brought up. So
he could have a spaceship land on his roof and aliens could come out and pour him a drink in his house and he still would deny it happened. That's my opinion of Mick West.
Yeah.
Roland's last video, he's talking about someone giving him information about DARPA and Area 51. Well, who do you think comes up with the projects that are at DARPA or at Area 51? Defense Advanced Research projects. And there's a facility called the DARK facility that DARPA ran called the Defense Advanced Research Center.
Yeah, the DARK
was involved with, and there was stuff on the internet about it at one time until Ed and I posted it one day, and it was literally gone like that. Do you remember that, Jeremy?
Oh yeah. Oh look, I can't even find anything. I just searched for DARK and I can't even find it. So the DARK facility is DRAC.
It was there. DARC.
You won't find a thing about this. Center. So there's a Defense Advanced Research Center.
And it was 10 stories underground. I think I know exactly where it was at too. Remember that place I showed you up on that hill that had a 90-meter wide looking doors and stuff like that in the southeast corner?
It's weird. It could be right under Battelle in downtown Ohio too. So we don't.
Well, they may have moved it. Who knows?
I know they got laboratories where they do all kinds of compartmentalized research all over the place, and I don't think there's any one mega facility where they do all the research, because that would, from an OPSEC standpoint, I don't think that would be the best. So, I mean, it would kind of make sense to keep all the secrets in one place, but that just kind of attracts a lot of attention and stuff. So, yeah, anyone who uses the scientific method is pretty much is a scientist, as long as you adhere to the scientific method and scientific methodologies. You're doing science. Doesn't matter if you have a degree or credentials. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how smart the person is, how great his theory is, or what his name is. All that matters is that if it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong, and that alone is the key to science.
Somebody said don't go to Reddit for answers. I agree with you there. I've seen
a lot of crap. You don't go anywhere to find the final answer, man. Everyone needs to make their own conclusions, come to their own decisions on stuff. So
West is probably connected to MI5. Yeah, he might be MI5 or MI6. Who knows? He's definitely not right on everything he says, and I don't expect him to be, but man, he really. What was it? The one video he tried to say was a balloon, where actually it does look like the thing goes into the water or anything. Like, I didn't agree with what he said there. The thing was miles and miles ahead of them. It was going 170 miles an hour. I don't know of any balloons that would go that fast without tearing to shreds in the above.
The other thing too is they mentioned that these things just keep their pace, and even in a strong headwind. That sounds like a tethered balloon to me. Right, or a kite, some kind of thing, because it's holding its position. It could be on a tether. I don't know. There's certain things about all that stuff that just make me curious. And then the people saying that they saw the sphere with the cube inside it, right? Well, that's Project Palladium. Look at the patents.
Or what? If you want to hear something really interesting, type in Jim Mars's name and look up buckyball. Jim Mars talked about buckyballs 20 years ago, and that was a sphere.
Oh, yeah.
Remember I told you about that?
Jim Mars.
He claimed that the government knew all about him, and he said that these buckyballs were actually drones from another world that would just come in and out of our atmosphere and do basically what the Tic Tac does right now. And he said there was absolutely nothing we could do about them. They were called buckyballs. They're probably in Jim Mars's interviews. I don't know if you'll be able to read anything about them, but because that stuff's all been scrubbed. Jim Mars was killed, I think. Jim Mars, he had an infection in his eye and died from it. Was the one eyeball disintegrated, and he was dead like, a month later? I like Jim Mars. I thought Jim Mars was awesome. He was one of my favorite researchers. And you don't see much about him anymore, do you?
No, he's disappeared too, man. He's another one that they blacklisted and taken off. So Jim Mars had his first book was actually he was an investigative journalist and a real a serious writer and investigator.
JFK, man, Crossfire.
And he did an investigation into the JFK assassination conspiracy, and I read this book. He concluded that it was 100% a conspiracy, and he names the three players that are most likely, the top suspects: the mafia, the Cubans, the anti-Cuban Castros, and the CIA, and the oil barons with the oil depletion allowance, and that meeting at Clint Murchison's house with all the oil barons that happened in Dallas the night before the murder. George Bush was apparently there with a bunch of other bankers and all these other people, and they think that he says that that's the meeting where they plotted this assassination. And
the most insane story I've ever heard Jim Mars tell, and I'm sure you can find it in one of his interviews, was when he talks about the Roswell alien ghost. They literally went to where the Roswell hospital used to be, and it ended up becoming like a a place you'd go to after having an accident. You'd have to be rehabilitated, and the Discovery Channel is with them. He claims that they actually filmed this ghost, and it was an alien. This is what he says. I mean, it does sound insane.
Yeah,
he claims they had it on film, and that the Discovery Channel absolutely refused to show it. And he said it shows what a bunch of crap all that stuff is because if they actually do get something that's interesting, they'll never show it. Everything's all for show. And
they can only show bullshit. Remember when we were going to be on Discovery, or was it Science Channel? And
I was there for 6 hours and did what, a 10-second bit here and a 5-second bit there. I was on NASA's Unexplained Files. And then at the very end, the guys are all acting like they were England, and they'd never been to Baltimore before, and they invited me down to have a drink at what their favorite bar in Baltimore. I looked at my nephew. I'm like, hold on a minute. I thought you guys were never in Baltimore before. And remember, I told you I bolted out of there, man. I jumped in my Lincoln and Florida and got the hell out of there. I thought my life may have been in danger.
Yeah.
All they wanted to talk about was that damn flying triangle.
They were trying to get me to say all kinds of stuff about it. They wanted me to come on and talk all this about this flying triangle. But when in the process of it, I started doing research, and I found the like high def original on NASA's website with like a NASA proprietary image link to the NASA the original on the NASA website.
And supposedly a broken tile, right, which caused the one shuttle to burn up and disintegrate midair over Texas. So.
And you can see when they zoom in on it, it's not a triangle. It's not like the TR3B. It's literally an irregular shaped piece of tile. It's like a.
Oh, I know what it looks like when you zoom in on it, but I just don't understand how that heat abrasive tile, it fell off this space shuttle, and that one didn't disintegrate, but the other one that it did, it burned up over Texas. Remember, that's what the explanation was that the tile fell off, and it's a pretty good sized chunk of it. I mean, look at that. Anyways, I want to see this Richard Dolan picture. Does anybody have a link, please?
I gotta find the image, man.
Yeah, Jim Mars was an old OG. He was, man. He was. Yeah, I don't believe in everything Jim Mars says either. Some people are calling him a whack job on here. Well, I don't think he was a whack job. I think he just reported on what he.
Right, he just reported on stuff, and you know what? I read some of his stuff, and I was like a little less, I'm a little more skeptical. One of his book, Sci Spies, for example, I read that, and it was all in the remote viewing stuff, And,
he was really into that. He was really for himself. So
what I thought was so interesting about it is all the research took place at the Army Psychological Warfare Operations Center, and that's kind of goes with my whole theory that this is all psychological warfare. And that convincing people that the government has psychic spies that can see inside your room and in your brain and inside of secret vaults it's just a psyop. I don't think they really have that technology and the
Brad Gray, TD Barnes was not the security guard at Area 51. The Area 51 security guard is
he was the head of CIA special projects. So TD Barnes was special. He wasn't a security guard. That it was actually head of CIA
an expert. Yeah, he was an expert in
special projects,
and in mainly from what I remember, wasn't he an expert, Jeremy, in radar signatures and RCSs, radar cross signatures? He was the first one to take an RCS of the stealth, the F-117, and he couldn't believe it came back. It was smaller than a bird.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the guard would be Fred Dunham, and Victor did an interview with Fred Dunham.
That's
and
right.
It's very interesting what Fred Dunham said. Fred Dunham was there from the mid 70s until 1993. He's the guy that sued Area 51 because his lungs are absolutely destroyed from breathing in the stealth coatings in the burn pit. And him and a bunch of other people did.
So they dumped all those that barium titanate stealth coatings and burned it in a burn pit.
Yep. When you hear Victor's interview with him, it's amazing. He literally says that he contacted George Knapp, said, "Hey, I go to Papoose Lake all the time. Been going there for years. We do this, that. We light fireworks off down there. It's kind of was like their hangout spot. The guards and stuff." He said, "There's nothing there." He said, "There's just absolutely nothing there. This story's crap." And he claims that Knapp didn't listen to him. And the interview Victor, if you're out there, post the link so people can hear that. He talked to him for about an hour. I've heard it 3 times now.
So what do you think is going on? Like, George Knapp has been, you know, kind of central figure in all this for a long time. And he's got Jeremy Corbell, who's his, like, protege or a little, you know, puppy dog.
I know. I wish I knew. They're getting a lot of attention.
They're getting so much attention, and they're like basically the UFO mafia. They control all the information that's getting put out there. And
they show balloons, for goodness sakes. They had a whole thing on the news the other day, and we're showing those darn balloons. That was on TMZ, where they showed the Batman balloon, and then the one balloon's a shark, and they had claimed, oh, no, they're not balloons.
Yep.
They sure did look like balloons to me. Yeah,
when that thing looks like that Batman party balloon. It doesn't look like anything else to me. And
it's on there. Yeah, I mean, I really absolutely believe that was. I started going through balloons right away. Remember I told you when I seen that, I'm like, Jeremy, that's a balloon. I've seen that shape before. And then someone else beat me to it.
Yeah.
I knew it was.
Batman.
Another thing that's mistaken is UFOs all the time is weather balloons. People don't realize what happens to a weather balloon. The higher it goes in the sky, it flattens and it looks like a disc. And from the ground, I mean, a weather balloon high up in the air really looks like a white UFO. It just does.
Right.
And that's been going on for many years. That's why the whole weather balloon thing is so funny. But I'm sitting here telling you, I absolutely believe in UFOs. I'm not saying I don't at all. I absolutely believe in UFOs. Have my entire life. The only problem is once I start to get into research a lot of these stories, you end up finding most of them are crap. And it's irritating.
Yeah, it's irritating because what happens is all the stuff that gets out in the most popular in the mainstream is like you think that ought to be the real stuff. So you start investigating those cases that are put out there to the public in the mainstream, and you realize this is all disinfo and this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think that's done on purpose. There's a number of cases which you never see on the mainstream. And so let's talk about some of those. So you say you believe in UFOs. What are your top 3 cases?
Top 3 cases. The Japan Airline 1986 case is my favorite. John Callahan, his story with that case where he was literally
the Japanese pilot where they
ordered by Reagan, for God's sakes, to say that this never happened. And then when the pilot Terahuchi got back to Japan, he told the whole thing within like a few days, and they were forced to explain. The Holloman Air Force base in 1974 is interesting. Yeah, someone brought that up. That was actually supposedly done in that film with Linda Howe, and you can actually see a white object flying in, but it could be a plane blurred out. But that is an interesting case. UFO cases that are my top ones.
Unexplained, where it's just that craft that they saw over Alaska is way too big to be a balloon or a blimp or anything. It's just.
They said it's 1,000 times larger than the airplane, and it also had two other UFOs that flew out of it that nobody talks about, and they were shaped like, as Michael Schratt says, a Campbell's can cut in half and opened up. It's like a very weird shape to them. They were flying around first, and then this massive acorn-shaped thing shows up, and scared the crap out of the pilot and the people aboard. And again, it wasn't a craft carrying people; it was carrying cargo. I think there were 7 people, seven or 8 witnesses, something like that. Man, to name my top 3, I mean, the Cash Landrum case is incredible because, I mean, those people got cancer, they died. It melted the dashboard. The lady's fingerprints were still on the dashboard. The Air Force tried to buy the car back, but supposedly that was ours because there was 25 Chinooks flying around this thing. Very interesting case, and the reason I like that is because it's a case with evidence. And I'll tell you what one of my most favorite ones is the Stephen Michalak case, also known as the Falcon Lake case in Canada, where Stephen Michalak was actually burned in a pattern on his body from radiation, and the burns would go away, and then they would come back, because that happens with radiation burns. They'd go away and come back. These cases actually have evidence. There's evidence there. The Cash Landrum case, they took the road out not once but twice, where this thing was over top of the road. Why it was over top of the road in the middle of Texas, I have no freaking idea. I can only think it got away from them if it was ours.
Yeah, the car became magnetized.
What's that?
In that case, the car became magnetized.
Yeah, Richard Dolan claims that the Cash Landrum case was an actual alien spaceship that we had found, but we couldn't figure out the propulsion system, so they put nuclear power under the bottom of it, which is kind of a weird thing.
I don't believe that.
Where he got that from, I don't know,
Yeah,
but it's a diamond-shaped. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's a diamond-shaped craft. I believe that Falcon Lake, and there's Colby Landrum, who I tried to talk to a few years back. He's my age, and it's kind of impossible to talk to him. He's on Facebook if anybody wants to reach out to him.
Right.
I have like 10 favorite cases. You know, it's hard to say which one, but Japan Air is definitely my favorite. A number of I'll tell you another of them. If you look up UFOs over Illinois, where 5 cops chased what looked exactly like an Edgar Fouche drawn TR-3B flying triangle over 5 or 6 counties, and these cops are from all different counties in the middle of the night, is an incredible case.
The Phoenix Lights also.
The Phoenix Lights is interesting, but I don't know.
Projection holograms.
I don't want to go into that because I'll probably piss people off if I say what I think was going on there. Oh, and also the Bucks County UFO sightings. The Bucks County UFO sightings was a TR-3B looking flying triangle tilted down. A lady named Denise Murter, which, if anybody who doesn't know, Bucks County is outside of Philadelphia. If you look up Denise Murter, last name spelled Murter, that's an amazing case because she took pictures of it. The thing had barium. She said it looked like pixie dust flying out of it and snowing all over her yard. Well, when the scientists came there and took samples of her yard, they couldn't believe it. It had barium all over the place. The tree was loaded with it. The ground was loaded with it. It was everywhere. And she has pictures. It should be a top 5 case, and you don't even know about it. You probably never heard about it. But Bucks County UFO, number of witnesses to that. She saw the thing more than once. She's seen it like 4 or 5 times at night. She could hear it. And I believe that's probably us. And if you look up what barium has to do with nuclear power, it's very interesting, right, Jeremy? Don't they use barium to decrease the amount of nuclear power when they put it in play, like when they use rods between two? Are you there?
I don't think they use barium. Usually they use
boron. Is it boron?
Boron. Yeah,
boron.
Boron.
It's either boron or barium that was all over her yard. It's a really interesting case, and she has an excellent picture of this thing in the sky. And what are those guys' named that MUFON? They went and searched it, and MUFON was blown away that she had pictures. They were getting ready to walk away till she showed the pictures and then told them about what was in the yard. Let me look her name up. This is a case you can hardly find, and it should be everywhere.
Yeah, so they can be boron, cadmium, silver, hafnium, or indium, but not barium.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was barium. Here's the picture that here it is on Alien Files. It's very hard to find. They'll show the pictures that bite, but they won't show the good pictures. Here we go, Jeremy, if you want to show this to anybody.
Yeah, why don't you post it?
It is definitely one of my top 5, that's for sure. I spoke to her because she doesn't live far from here.
Did you post it on Facebook or what?
No, I just sent it into the messenger thing there because I don't know if it would show up into the the Facebook messenger thing there. You can come down, it happened in 08, I think, and then you can see what looks like it's dipped on its side. She said it was very large, and it looks to me it's a triangular shaped craft. It looks to me like we see the one corner and then the other corner wrapping around.
Let me pull it up. Hold on a second.
It's pretty interesting, you know.
I gotta get going. How's everyone doing this morning, man? Is it too early for UFOs? I got 221 people watching. That's not bad.
Really? That's a lot of people.
So TMZ had the UFO special last night. Man, we got to like start writing to these writers and like telling them like less bullshit, Corbell, more real stuff. You know,
they're having one on Discovery Channel tonight. I think at 8 o'clock it starts.
This is the one from last night. Yeah, this is the one from last night, but they only have like a 2-minute clip. So the longer one you can find on Mystery Wire right here. And on Mystery Wire channel, there's like a 17-minute clip where it has like better quality than the original. So go check that out on Mystery Wire as well. And make sure you leave some stinging comments in the chat. He's got LaViolette's book, and like I can recognize some of these books on his shelf. There's Annie Jacobson's book.
I think that's at George Knapp's house. I don't think that's at his house.
Yeah, this has got to be George Knapp's.
I'm pretty sure because they were in George Knapp's living room, I believe.
It's just weird what's going on with these two. This George Knapp.
Whenever he's interviewed, he's always got his Bob Lazar board behind him, and then the chalkboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or he's sitting in his underwear, you know, in the bathroom.
They were definitely in the same place because they were interviewed together on a couch, and then.
Yeah, it's got to be Knapp's house. There's no way Jeremy has a collection like that. I don't think he stole that many books from John Lear.
He took some though.
I know. Didn't he steal the Ringmakers of Saturn original edition?
Ringmakers of Saturn first edition. Look what that's going for right now.
Yeah.
And John had 2 of them. That's what John told me and told a bunch of people we knew.
Yeah, he said that he had 2 copies of this book, $1,000 book, and they had 2 copies of it at his house on his bookshelf. And
took a bunch of. He said he took
disappeared.
A bunch of UFO material that he didn't want gone. That's what John says.
Yeah. I swear he was probably an agent hired to stay at John's house and rob him of all his info. And
gotta wonder, John Lear's home, before cell phones, everyone had a house phone. His home was bugged in 1986. What's that book going for by Norman Bergeron, which you died last year, by the way? It is impossible to find Solar Warden. You are right. To buy it, at least.
You can't buy a copy. This is $2,300 it's going for right now.
How much?
Over $2,000 for this copy of this book. So, yeah. He had an original copy, and it disappeared while Jeremy Corbell was staying there. There's some beef between John
Lear claims he definitely took it.
Yeah.
Along with some other stuff. And he literally lived on his couch for 4 or 5 years. Lear says 7 or 6, I think. I'm pretty sure it was at least 4 or 5.
He was making the documentary. You can still go on his website and see like that he was making a documentary about John Lear and stuff.
And John Lear's family stopped him. They literally have a court order, I think, that. Yeah.
He can't release any of the footage or any of the stuff now. He's pissed about it.
He's waiting for John to croak, and I still don't think he'll be able to do anything with it because you got to remember, John has like 5 daughters.
He's just not looking good these days. I've seen a more recent picture of him, and it's even worse.
Lear's definitely in bad shape. Yeah, I heard he's not doing very well.
Well,
he's had a rough couple of years. I mean, look what happened to him at his age. I'd have a heart attack if I was.
I have a heart attack I had a heart attack every morning when I go on and I see this idiot getting hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube and across the internet when he lies his ass off. It's every word out of this guy's mouth it's just a lie, exaggeration, lie. None of the shit's true. None of it can be proven. You're a fraud. You are a fucking liar and a fraud. You are the biggest fraud in ufology right now. And that's the only reason you have such a huge platform and a following is because I think his goal is to spread disinformation and misinformation and be the straw man so that Mick West can debunk the hell out of him and be like, look, all of ufology is crazy and stupid. Don't look at these people and don't listen to these people.
John Lear and Gene Huff are not fans of this guy at all. They can't stand him. That is
even Lazar. Even Lazar can't stand Corbell anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want to do interviews or anything with Corbell anymore.
Yeah, it's
even Bob.
Bad. Yep.
Yeah, this was the worst though. Is when Jeremy Corbell 5 days ago went on theories of everything with Kurt, and luckily I got a hold of Kurt a couple days before this interview and armed him with some powerful information and questions. And oh God, Jeremy Corbell lies through his teeth this entire interview. It's really shameful, and this man should be completely ashamed of himself and what he's done to ufology. He claims he's an expert and knows all this stuff about UFOs, and then he goes on this raid about this. His rant about he's got asked a question about the TR3B and explain what you know about the TR3B in the case.
Oh yeah, show that.
Show that. Oh God, it's so bad.
You and I know why that is, because
he does not mention Ed Fouche. He will not mention Ed Fouche because Ed Fouche help us put together the debunk on Bob Lazar.
Ed was the main guy. He's the one that woke me up to the whole thing being a pile of crap.
Yeah, I used to like pursue the case and think that it could still be legit. But then once I was like, no, this has got to be legit. There's got to be a cover up. I'm like, this has got to be real, and the government's got to be covering this up. And all the people talking this stuff about him are disinformation agents and stuff. But then Ed just really got into it, and
Ed used to get pissed off. I mean,
Yeah, so there's the Bob Lazar page I have where you can find lots of documents on this inside info and stuff that you won't find anywhere. Jeremy Corbell won't talk about any of this. In the interview he gave where he claims to be an expert on these subjects and he talks about the TR3B, the stuff that he talks about is that fake John St. Clair patent. Okay, he brings this up. He brings up the electrodravitics. He brings up everything but all the important key information that you need to find the real stuff. So he leaves all that out on purpose. It's so contrived and so obvious once you know like the backstory and you understand the CIA the intelligence manipulation that's taking place here. Familiar with the TR3B? Yeah, are you familiar with the TR3B? No, he's not. He's not familiar with this at all. He's a complete fucking fool and moron because everything he says about the TR3B is all the disinformation and lies that have been put out. Look at him laughing about it too. I'm your friend. I'm your friend, guys. Look at me. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I know this subject. Oh please. Oh God. It's so bad, dude. And Kurt's a real nice guy. He's not the type.
Boy, he does. That Kurt guy does seem like a very smart, cool.
He's smart, but he's really cool. He's just not. He's not like confrontational enough. Like he's not going to be the guy to like call out bullshit. He's just going to ask questions and then move on. He's not really the type to dig in hard. But he did good enough because I gave him the right question and we equipped him with the right questions to ask Mr. Corbell. And the other great part of this interview, besides I showed that one on the air the other night, so I'm not going to play it over again with the lies he says about the TR3B. But look up the stuff about the raid, the Area 51 raid, and I'm not the Area 51 raid, the Bob Lazar raid, and the true story. So this part right here at 33 minutes, this is like the other great part because we have all the documentation. Steve Cambion did the investigation on this. He has tons of stuff on this on the Truth Seekers channel with Steve Cambion. And that's Steve Cambion, Truth Seekers. He's got all the information on this FBI raid, and talked to the local sheriff. There's no way the sheriff's involved with this whole conspiracy to cover up for the FBI. Even the FBI agents who are involved are like, "Come on, this is nonsense. We went there to investigate a murder. They have the warrants. They have everything." But Jeremy Corbell, listen to him. He's still holding to the fake narrative, still trying to hold on to this disinformation story about that was a present, like a central feature in his film on Bob Lazar, saying that this was that whole raid in the beginning of the thing. He gets the text about the FBI raid. It's the start of the movie, and it's a central theme throughout the entire film about this Area 51 raid that Bob's got Element 115. And that the FBI is after it, and they want to shut the truth up and close. And it's none of that. Ed Fouche, I believe now, is telling the truth because there's a reason why he's been erased from the internet. He's been real Bob Lazar's. The real Bob Lazar, they didn't erase Bob Lazar. He's fucking everywhere. People like telling me like, oh, they erased this dude's past. They erased him from the internet. Bro, no. You don't know who Ed Fouche is? Ed Fouche is the guy they erased from the internet, man.
Ed and I had a YouTube channel together, and I looked up a video one day, and it was just completely gone. And I contacted YouTube about it, and they're like, this is not your channel, whatever. I'm like, actually, yeah, it was, because remember, I had the passwords and everything, and it's just gone. There was nothing I could do about it, and it was taken down. It wasn't one of them situations where Ed had not done a video in 3 years. It was less than a year after Ed passed away. Ed passed away in May of 2017. This was somewhere around the summer. Maybe it was a little over a year. Maybe the summer of like 2018. Remember, it was gone, Jeremy. It's like 30 videos on there, gone.
That's because no one has confirmed answers. You all have educated beliefs. I think you take your emotions too far. Dude, we have lots, like, you're not, those of you, like, people see me bashing Corbell and they're like, oh, like, I was on, this is the fucked up part, right? I was on Twitter the other day, right? And I said something about Corbell. And you know who Danny Silva is?
Well, yeah, he was on that. He was on that Spanish guy's channel. I know who he is. Bald-headed guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this.
Well, let me guess. He started getting on your case.
No, this is what I got to find it on Twitter now, because it was from it was like a couple days ago, and I said something. He said, "How about you do some investigation, break some real stories, or shut the hell up?" Like, that's what he said to me. And I'm like, dude, do you even know who the fuck I am? Like, do you know, like, what I've broken and the information that, like, I've researched and brought out to the public? Do you have any idea? Like, go to my website, go to, like, my YouTube channel. Do you even watch any of my stuff? Are you aware that I have documented, like links to all this shit? I have links for all this stuff. It goes to official government sources, not just fake patents. We analyze all this shit.
Yeah, Ed, a guy put $20 up there and said, Dan, do you remember the name of Ed's channel? Yes, it was capital E, Fearful.
Yes.
Capital EFEARFUL. And then we had another channel called, let me see if I can, all I got to do is type in my name and Ed's name, and I'll tell you right away, that was taken down too. Hold on a minute here.
That was his name, E Fearful. That was his email address.
That was his name, you know.
But he had a whole channel on there with all these interviews and stuff, and it's all gone. It all got taken down after he died. They removed it. They did the whole switch on YouTube, and they removed all that stuff, and all his videos are gone now. It's so
it's completely freaking gone. I have no backups of nothing, and I was very upset about it. I was like, what the fuck?
And now I realize that there was another guy in our group who sabotaged the forum, made me think it was Ed, and also drove all this division between us in the group, and they caused a whole bunch of infighting between me and Ed, which led to this whole drama and this whole thing where we were trying hard to debunk him for a year. But I still, like, I walk away from that. I tried hard to debunk Ed. I even got, like, him drunk he was drunk one night and said, like, that he was going to tell, I recorded him saying that, oh, I'll just say I'm a lying motherfucker, and I made the whole thing up. And
yeah, explain that, because people need to know the truth behind that, because what happened was Ed got messed up one night, and him and Jeremy were arguing. I used to always be in the middle of it, try and mediate these two guys. They're two A personalities. This is
messed up, because, like, Ed was a real good friend of mine, and I told him all kinds of stuff about my life, right?
Yeah, and Ed trashed Jeremy on
forums. He's the one that made I had to come up with my real name. He put my real name out there. He put all this information about my pat. Like, he
gave it to your enemies is what he did. And what happened was Jeremy put this video out, and Jeremy took it where Ed said he was a liar, and then he said, hey, I'm a liar about everything. I've never fucking told the truth about anything. And Jeremy mixed the words together.
No, I just took the clip out. I didn't mix any words together. I put that one clip up where he said I'm a lying motherfucker. But the thing is, what in the context of what he was saying, if I gotta go find the original interview, and I
have the original video. I'm the one that asked him to say.
I can't even find the shit. It's got to be on another hard drive somewhere. Like,
I have it. The thing is Ed wasn't saying about the TR3B. He was joking around because he was talking to me and David Hilton at 8:30 in the morning, and it was about what Ed was talking about, and I kind of got concerned about what he was talking about. I didn't think it was anything that we needed to know about, if it was, military stuff. And I said, well, Ed, just say you're a lying MFer right now, and that'll cover everything up. And that's what he said. But the thing was, he messed with Jeremy, and Jeremy gave him a payback, and it ended up on
He threatened.
ABS.
He threatened a whole bunch of shit to me. Is what he did. He threatened. He threatened
It was
to
out of
friggin'.
line. There's no doubt about it.
He was going to expose all this stuff about my past and all this stuff that I had told him, and it's like, yeah. What I got arrested like 20 years ago, and I did some time in jail. All right. And that's what taught me a lot about how this world really fucking operates.
Well, remember he went to one of your
that the thing is that, you know, it's crazy because I really think that everyone, especially lawyers, judges, and DAs, anyone who's involved in the law should be required and mandated to spend a year in prison. They should be required so that they understand what it's like and what happens and what goes on in there. Because until you've lived it, you have no fucking clue. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Until you get arrested for something, until the cops set you up and you get arrested for something that you that you didn't do, but now you have to plead guilty to and face time and do time for. Until that happens to you, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. People don't care about my past, bro. Like, you know, it's 20 years old, dude. They want to know about UFOs and all this stuff. All right. Jail isn't supposed to be a fun experience. Okay.
No, and
yeah, all right, but you don't understand. You don't understand.
I remember.
What if you get there's prisons here are like hotels? Oh, that must be nice, man.
Prisons in the VA or not?
So another thing I have to try to tell people is that, you know, the majority of people, like now, we have the highest incarceration rate in this country. We send people to jail for anything and everything. All of our court systems are completely contrived and corrupt and run by corrupt officials who just want to put people in jail. And it's all run by what's called a private prison industry. And I learned all about this, that it's an industry and they make money off sending all the people to jail in this country. And there's a bunch of people that make tons of money off it. And so they contrive the laws. They also own all the rap labels too. The same private companies that own these prisons, they own all these rap labels, so that they take these prisoners and give them rap contracts to make music about this thug lifestyle that they encourage and implant into our youth to create a culture of criminality and a culture of gang warfare and everything else that's going on in this country. It's completely ripping and destroying this country apart because of all the money that it goes into these private prison systems. And that's what people need to understand. These people are the real criminals. These are the people that should be fucking locked up. Half the people I've met in jail weren't bad people. And there were some bad people that I did meet in jail that sucked. But, you know,
there's so many people
everywhere. I know so many, but there's so many people that I know out in the real world who suck 10 times worse than anyone I ever met in jail that will never fucking go to jail and are out here walking free, fucking everyone over in their fucking path that they ever fucking come across and meet.
Hey, Jeremy, read that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Sorry, I'm just going on a rant about.
There's a kid. This advocate for peace guy claims, but on the other hand, Jeremy used Lazar's pimp charges against him to maximize effects. That's kind of hypocritical. No, it's not, because the pimp charge goes to show Bob Lazar was running this entire illegal. And it's way worse than you could ever imagine. I have the police documents here. I can give them to Jeremy right now to post. It's insane to think that guy was supposedly working at S4 on the most classified project ever. And there's only 22 people on that program, yet he's running a freaking whorehouse, you know, in the middle of the night. But that's when he was supposedly at S4. I mean, it's non-hypocritical because Jeremy is not claiming that he's working on some kind of.
No, I'm not claiming that I was hired to be worked on the most classified program in history. Okay, and also this is the people say, oh, why wouldn't they choose him? He could be easily discredited because he has got the brothel and all this stuff. And it's like, no, dude, like you don't understand the security clearances, and you also don't understand that like people look for an excuse. Like, why would he lie? Why? He's not the type of person to lie. He prostitutes women for money. He literally
involved women, money, and a bank. You can't even have a bankruptcy to get a clearance. And this guy claims he was 38 levels above top secret, but he went to Area 51 in November of 1988. Never was given any clearance at all, and was sent right to S4 in December of '88. Yes, he claimed he worked a week in December. in '88 because he went to John
Here's
Lear's
what
house
happened.
on
This
December
guy's a
6th and
pimp
said, "I
con
saw
man
you
from Las
today."
Vegas. Okay, a pimp con man from Las Vegas operating a
That's right.
brothel. He meets John Lear because John Lear, you know, is known. He's a big fan of prostitutes. I think that somehow there's some connection there. He got met. Well, according to the official story, they did an appraisal on John Lear's house for a guy he was working for because Bob ran a photo company in Las Vegas. He was a photographer and he ran a photo processing company. Okay.
He was doing it for Gene Huff, and Gene Huff and him measured the house.
He was just some guy trying to do anything he possibly could to pull money together. You look at his whole financial history. He borrowed money from all kinds of people, his parents, everyone else, and
Los
never paid
Alamos
it back.
he took off. Yeah.
He burned every bridge that he had in Los Alamos before he left there. Then he moved to Las Vegas, meets John Lear, and then he gets all these ideas in his head for how he can make money on another story and another thing. And this is how I believe it came together. I don't know, but I want to.
John Lear, the videos they traded for the actual home appraisal was the Billy Meyer.
Yeah, and I have that on tape. So you go watch that video I posted in the description about Bob Lazar contradictions, lies, and that Bob Lazar video. That one has all the clips in it of that. So let me see, Bob Lazar. Yeah. So this one's good. This one's good. But where's the one?
Bob Lazar's own wife at the time, not the wife now, Tracy, claims it was all crap. It was all bullshit.
I got to redo that video and repost it. I think.
100%.
Yeah. If we posted it with just a little bit of narration and commentary to show people what they're looking at and get some little.
Show the pictures of Papoose Lake, man. Show them what's really there. I mean,
we've already covered that. It's nothing that we try to investigate this. If there was anything there with the physics or the actual location, the amount of research that me and you, Dan, have done on this over the past 20 years, we would have pulled this out. We would have pulled this out and we would have fucking exposed it. But it's all a lie. And then I go and expose the lies, and people call me like the next, and say that I'm the cover up artist and stuff. That's at least what Jeremy Corbell would like people to think. Yeah, this is just ridiculous how much attention this man gets and that he does not deserve one bit of.
T.D. Barnes claims it's fake. Ed claimed it's fake. The guard, what was the guard's name I just said? Why did I forget his name? Right, Fred Dunham claimed it's total bullcrap. Anybody that we've ever found that's actually been to Area 51 and can prove it, they all claim it's the Lazar story is a total lie. They
have no reason to lie either.
It actually pisses a lot of them off because they can't really just come out until they're retired and say anything about it. But it's not like we just guessed all this stuff. We did
lots of research into this, man. I believed this. I believed this strongly at one point. I was trying to prove the case. That's why I did all the research, because I was like, there's something here, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to prove it to the world, and I'm going to blow the story wide open. But the more research that I did, and the more stuff that I found out, I was just like, oh my God, they promoted this case, and they keep promoting it for money, and it's all this is about. And
let's
the government,
Jerry Freeman was there, walked right over the place. Yeah.
Let's not forget that the U.S. Air Force has never made an official denouncement. They love Bob Lazar, man. They fucking love the disinformation. They love that people believe this garbage.
It keeps you from looking into what's, like Michael Schratt said,
yes.
It keeps you from looking into what's really going on there because they think you're looking for UFOs when there's actually some kind of, maybe there is some kind of
They're
UFO.
looking in the wrong place. They're looking out in this abandoned dry lake bed in the desert, south, even away from Area 51. They're not even looking at Area 51 anymore. It's a total distraction. There's nothing. I've never found a goddamn thing there, and I encourage anyone who's skeptical of me or the research that we did, prove us wrong.
That's
Go find some evidence and please bring it to us. I'll be the first one to put to highlight it and confront it. I'm not afraid of evidence. I'm just want the truth. I'm not here to lie to anybody or mix up narratives or call anyone, names or anything. I'm not here for that. I'm here to just get the truth out. And this guy's a liar, man. Straight up. He lies. Half the words out of his mouth are not true. He makes up stuff about this, and then people defend him on this crap, and then they make fools out of themselves on Twitter. This video is going to be this is the cycle. In next month, there's going to be another bullshit fucking fake video that Corbell's going to put out. Mick West is going to come out and debunk it. And then all of UFO Twitter is going to argue about it for a month and make themselves look like fucking idiots because they're so distracted by the disinformation that they're not wasting. They're wasting all their time on nonsense instead of getting into the real shit. And I'm sorry, I wasted enough time this morning talking about nonsense myself, and now I need to go get some real shit going on. This is not about obsession with Corbell. It could be anyone. It could be another government liar with a different face and a different name. The fact is, I'm obsessed with disinformation and government liars who are paid actors and paid psyops. That's not. It doesn't. Corbell is just a face and a name to what I'm obsessed with. Okay, it's nothing to do with this individual. He's playing a role. He's put out disinformation and lies.
Yeah. Can I respond to Advocate for Peace real quickly, Jeremy? He says, I actually disagree with the point, that particular point. Lazar's story was immensely damaging to the Air Force secrecy. Just that particular point, though. Hang on a minute here. I want to explain something to you. The name Area 51 came out in 1988, to be exact, when Richard Doty went on a show called UFO Cover Up Live, and he had a chalkboard there, and Area 51 was listed at the top. People were like, what was Area 51? It started to come out that Area 51 was a hidden base in the desert. People started to know about John Lear and another guy.
Wasn't there another article like in '86, even earlier than that?
No, remember, I found one in 1980 in Weekly World magazine. I can send you real quickly. That's just mind-blowing how accurate it is. It talks about the stealth fighter and everything 10 years prior. But I just want to say something real quick. What if Bob Lazar is a disinformation agent, and the people that ran Area 51 and ran the government, which is Bob Lazar claimed is the Navy, which is wrong. It was the Air Force in '89. What if they wanted people to know the narrative of Area 51? What if they wanted to project the narrative of what Area 51 is to you? And they want you thinking it's alien spaceships, so you don't look into the stealth program. You're looking in the wrong spot.
Yes.
So
well, UFOs.
Yes, UFOs are convenient distraction. They still are right now.
It's part of the cover-up. So
I think it's very possible.
I think it wasn't damaging to Air Force secrecy. It was actually massively beneficial. It's massively beneficial to Air Force secrecy because now they have people looking into UFOs instead of the stealth and visibility and top secret air anti-gravity and other technologies that they're really working on there, and at other facilities, many other facilities, because they make everyone think, oh, it all goes to Area 51. That's where. And then remember that was around the same time those SOM manuals came out, where they said there was crash recoveries and all the stuff gets brought to Area 51 and stored at Area 51. None of that's true. It gets brought to Wright-Patterson and gets stored at Material Command. So it's just layers and layers of disinformation to tell people, look over here, look over here.
Yeah, Richard Doty actually stated in 1988 at the IUFOC cover-up when he was Falcon, he stated that the Zeta Reticulan aliens ran Area 51. Aliens now. Aliens. They ran the base. They ran security. They ran everything. We all know that's a bunch of bullcrap now. That's where the story originated with the Zeta Reticulan aliens. And guess what? The Billy Meyer beam ship that's also known as the Sport Model had, guess what? Zeta Reticulan aliens in there. It had 3 little chairs that the Zetas sat in, which all started from the Betty and Barney Hill case. What, in the 60s is where the Zeta Reticulan first started from. There's a number of easy ways to figure out how this story started and how the narrative was controlled. When we sit here and say that something's fake, I don't like doing that, but I have to do it to educate people because it makes me sick to see all these people saying, oh, he's telling the truth, he's telling the truth. But then
it's like people are like, oh, you're complaining everyone's wasting their time talking about nonsense. So why are you wasting your time talking about nonsense? I'm not wasting my time because I've already wasted that time. I've done all the research and I'm helping you save your time. And it's not wasting me spending an hour to help, an hour and a half to help you save some time by giving you the research that's already been done. So you don't have to do it yourself because a lot of it gets taken down. You can't even find it. It just disappears. So this is not a waste. There's so much disinfo. I'm trying to show people we've investigated this. This is the real stuff, and So this is not, we're not the same, okay?
The Russians wasted an incredible amount of time synthesizing element 115. It was not first synthesized in Darmstadt, Germany. The Russians were the first ones to synthesize element 115. I'm pretty sure about that, Jeremy. So obviously,
because it's called Moscow.
The disinformation worked. I mean, they wanted to know, okay, is this element 115 really have these anti-gravity properties?
Yeah, Russia spent
you bombard it
billions
with protons, which is a ridiculous thing, where it supposedly bumps into another element and gives off antimatter, but it doesn't melt and disintegrate the entire reactor, even though it has a melting point of 3,700 degrees. That's how they fuse the little pieces together and create the little
thermionic generator and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It goes up to millions of degrees inside of there. But the element 115, which is fused together at Los Alamos, it's known as LE1000. You take 9 pieces and they fuse them together with heat at Los Alamos. It doesn't happen to burn up when it's inside the reactor at 1,000,000 degrees, though, does it? When it's an incomplete annihilation
without destruction. Now, you and I both know, and we have reported that there was a submarine that was sent out to search for wreckage of the vehicle. Nothing was found. So the idea is that when it was going on or off radar, which is happening a lot, they may have been going above the scan volume of the radar system or below, which is into the water. And so indeed, it is believed that this was a transmedium vehicle.
So this
all right, none of this stuff is what he says it is. It's all a contrived joke to distract people so that they can debunk it and be like, oh, this stuff's crazy.
Waste time on
we talked about the MPUAV, right, the submarines. So he mentions that submarine thing, and that Lockheed Martin Cormorant is a submarine-launched craft, and it has these things. There's another, I believe there's another variant of it, which looks different.
Oh, yeah, that's called the, hold on a minute.
MPUAV.
The bird of prey looks a lot like that, too.
Yeah, so there's a DARPA program with, you can call the MPUAV Cormorant, and this thing launches out of a submarine and then goes back into the water and gets recovered by the submarine.
Oh, yeah, remember we saw, there's a video of it. Show that video of that thing. It's incredible.
So, again, nothing new, nothing alien.
But it is 10 years old, the video, right? If I remember, yeah, it's from 2012. I couldn't believe this. I saw this, remember?
Yeah, this is what they were developing a decade ago, and it's probably
which means 30 years ago.
Yeah. So also they talk about the submarines. So the ballistic submarines, they have these submarines that have these vertical containers where they can launch nukes out of the submarine, and that's like this whole idea. And they decommissioned them because the Russians developed technology to track all of our subs based on the nuclear signatures that the nukes would give off. So like it's all strategic war game stuff. So like now they took out the nuclear stuff out of the subs, and they needed to repurpose these submarines for something else. So they had DARPA scientists come up with some ideas, and this is what they came up with, and this is what they started building. And it's a craft that launches out of the water, and this thing fires these missiles, which look just like the little Tic Tacs. Yeah. These little supercavitating like torpedoes. And
hey, hold on a minute here. I'm pissed off about something. Hey, Kepsta, in a little while, Big Pappy 51 will start talking about how real Bigfoot is. No, dumbass. I'm the one that put that video up and shows it's fake, the Patterson video. I'm the guy that shows that he's wearing a pair of freaking hip waders, and you can see the damn suspender on it.
Yeah,
I didn't say the video is real. I have it up there saying it's fake.
Yeah,
and
we debunk all that.
A lot of shit, but I bet death threats over that freaking video. So I don't even want to hear it, dude.
We're not talking about no one Kepsa says that. Oh, Bigfoot.
That guy on there says I'm going to say how real it is.
He debunked Bigfoot.
It is, man. That Patterson footage is bullcrap.
All right, so let's open the stream up to people. I got to get off here in a little bit.
Yeah, come on in, people.
Here's the live stream link. We always do this at the end, and yeah, don't let these shows are putting stuff in. They're purposely like,
yeah, I know.
They're trolls.
Yes, that's right. It doesn't disprove Bigfoot as a whole, but that Patterson footage, the latest stabilized footage, if you look at it, you go to my channel, you can see it. You can see the strap that Bob Hieronymus claimed that he was wearing from the hip waders, and their 1950s and 60s hip waders. You can see it swing around. It's there. It's not
Okay, it
real.
doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah, I
These
know.
are
What's just
fucking
somebody trying
idiots
to
distract and troll. So let's just ignore those idiots and talk about real stuff. Yeah. So no more Bigfoot.
Have somebody come in here and show this. I'd like to see this.
It's
Richard.
one of Corbell's agents. It's probably one of the people that work.
Hey, Carl.
For the agency that.
Hey, man.
Corbell.
What's up, dude?
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Oh boy, Grandmaster is going to come on here in his underwear and take long hits on the channel.
Oh, that guy smokes a lot of marijuana. I didn't know you could buy marijuana.
Jeremy,
mushrooms in the background.
Jeremy, I posted a link to a screenshot from Dolan.
Oh, sweet, in the private chat. I got to get this. Yes, I was trying to find this. I was looking for it, couldn't find it. So here it is. Thank you.
You got it.
Grandmaster UV and the killer.
Classified portion of the UAP. Energy pulse propulsion systems.
Love you, man.
So EPPS. So I can talk about these energy pulse propulsion systems. Okay, let's talk about a little bit of this. So
damn, you just got $100,
yeah,
Jeremy. Colin Grant.
Hear your thoughts.
Oh, Colin, yes, definitely keep digging and send us whatever you can find on the go. They take so much stuff down, man. If you guys can find, we got to find a way to get Ed's channel reinstated and back. It's probably sitting on.
I've tried.
Yeah.
I had all his passwords, his email, all that stuff. He gave that stuff to me, and they didn't want to hear it. They wouldn't tell me why it was shut down or anything. It's just gone. I think somebody struck a couple of his videos, Jeremy, and there was no way to see the strike unless you had his email, and I think I know who. And there was no response to the strikes because they knew he was dead, and boom, his channel was gone. That's what I believe happened.
So back to this, right? So let me find the energy propulsion system. So this is something called pulsed plasma. Okay, so pulsed plasma.
Damn, must be nice to make $100 this morning.
I know, right? I didn't even go to work yet. I made more. I'm getting paid $100 to go.
I'll be back to work in 2 weeks.
I got a 2-hour job. I got to go help put a window in because he needs a second guy to help him stabilize and lift the window and put it in place. I'm gonna go make $100. I already made more money on this stream than I'm gonna make this afternoon going to actual work. So, this is good. I want to talk about this. Let me find this thing. Where is this? So this is interesting that they have pulsed plasma propulsion system projects on here.
I thought so too.
There's another. There's a NASA scientist. Okay, so remember the NASA scientist remember that girl from NASA that started dating my lead technician from Falcon Space, Mark, and brought him to Huntsville, Alabama, and all that stuff. Remember that? So her name is Amy Eskridge, and her father is actually a NASA scientist who works on named Richard Eskridge, who works on all this pulsed plasma stuff, right? So this is where I've heard of this before and seen this stuff. Let me find it now. Where did it go? So Richard, you can look up Richard going like NASA, Richard S.
Oh my God, the dude gave me $100, Jeremy. You gotta send me a money order again.
Plasma. Oh God,
thanks, man.
Hey man, thank you. I gotta say, and by the way, Dan, I did send you the money, right?
Oh yeah, I cashed that in. Had a good time with it. Thanks, man. I really appreciated that. So, man, thanks, Colin. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm a man of my word.
Jeremy sent me a money order. That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate it big time, dude.
I don't mess around, man. So
no. Even spell my name.
If you come on my show and be a guest and drop some information that's worth $100, man, you could make $100 too, right? Probably not as much as the government's paying some of you, but to keep quiet about stuff.
Colin's hooked us up. I think Colin's the one that gave me the $150 last time.
Yeah, he did, man. He loves the
Colin
shit.
Rules, brother.
He likes what we're putting out. Apparently, he likes the information, man. So like.
Facebook
Colin, you're the reason we're still doing it. I probably wouldn't even have gone live this morning and done this if we hadn't had so much success in doing this the other time.
He's Colin's elite.
Grandmaster UV, what's up, man? Are you smoking 2.2 or what?
So there's a whole bunch of design and testing of these small inductive pulse plasma thrusters. There's another guy named A.K. Martin who worked on the project with Eskridge. And you can find a bunch of stuff on the NASA site about this technology if you want to look into more about where of course, it came out of Huntsville, Alabama, where we know NASA does a lot of anti-gravity research. So just something I figured worth mentioning in relation to number one. All right, so let's go to number two, ion propulsion systems. So yeah, that's like M drive, also like ion beams. M drive's not really ion propulsion. It's maybe something else. Anti-gravity propulsion systems. So that's basically looking into quantum gravity and ways to beat gravity. And we cover all that stuff on my technologies page on my website and stuff. Then the antimatter propulsion systems, again, it goes a little bit beyond this because I talk about antimatter, and I said that the new way that they're producing antimatter in this negative mass, right? So you look at physicists.
Gee, who do you think the leaker was to Richard Dolan? Just think about that real quick. Who do you think it was, Jeremy? Just think in your mind. Who do you think that leaker was? It's pretty simple to figure out, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Some of this stuff's interesting, but it's not. Again, there's no specifics given on any of this stuff.
Somebody he may have done an interview with a few years ago, you know.
Maybe.
Of course they have it. Of course they have the classified version. You know where they got that from.
So this is all the stuff that's classified, and pretty much, wow, that just goes to show you, right? So the classified portion of this report, I know more details about the scientists who worked on all this stuff and the actual programs than Richard Dolan's putting out. So this is good. That's what people come here for.
So Jeremy, are they saying that the anti-gravity propulsion systems are ours, or are they talking about that ETs have anti-gravity propulsion systems? They're talking about us, right?
This is talking about us. This is the stuff that we worked on. This is all the stuff that I have documented on the website, the research that I've done, showing what we know and what we've worked on.
What do you think about ramjet hydrogen propulsion? What is that?
So all that ramjet hydrogen propulsion systems is related to this this plasma stuff that I was talking about that NASA did with with Eskridge and a bunch of these other guys. So they take this, they basically they energize the air, make it a plasma, and then use the plasma effects to blast it at really high speed.
Yeah, and so it seems like they're using that to get to supersonic speeds, like to get past Mach 3 to Mach 6 is someone's using this.
There's another thing that someone's been like, oh, we haven't even gotten, this one guy I was arguing with about the technology, and he's like, we can't even get scramjets to work at, how do you expect, why do you think, we can't even, we spent millions and billions of dollars and we can't even get a scramjet to work properly. How do you believe in any of this crap that you're spewing? That's what someone said to me on Twitter. And it's likely that they're saying that they're putting all this money into scramjets, but this is the reality of where the money's going. They're beyond scramjets. Okay.
Shell game. Yeah.
That's like the shell game. That's the stuff that DARPA puts out to the public. They're like, oh, this is what we're spending the money on and working on. No.
The Russians have missiles that use scramjets, by the way. Was that one missile goes 8,000 miles an hour and spreads out into 4 different ones?
Again, the idea of forcing air through a compressive, shaft like a jet engine into a turbojet engine. So the idea of forcing supersonic air into this jet engine was thrown out probably 20 to 30 years ago. Okay, they threw this whole idea out the window. Now what they do is they use the entire surface of the craft. Why funnel it all into a thing? That's been the problem, because the supersonic flow, as it enters this, it causes too much turbulence in it, and they can't get the thing. They can't physically build the things without them ripping apart, because you can't.
That was what the Aurora led to.
Supersonic flow into a turbine.
Wasn't that what the Aurora used? The big talk back in the day was that the Aurora craft, the SR-75, used it. Again,
why is Battelle manufacturing the skin coatings? Right. So those they got the contract for those skin coatings. Okay. This is the real stuff, is these functionalized surfaces. Okay. Functionalized surfaces is that they removed the idea of forcing this into a turbine, into a jet engine, and they just put this stuff on the surface of the craft with these advanced materials like the supercavitation tech, that light craft technology. This is where it's gone. They threw this scramjet idea in the garbage 30 years ago, and nobody serious is working on this anymore. It's all in the skin coatings, and it's all doing this across the surface of the craft and the outside of the craft, and creating this the shaft for which the thing to go supersonic through supersonic flow. It's to eliminate the whole supersonic flow and make the supersonic flow go around the craft entirely without even touching the craft, and then using this plasma, pulse plasmas and stuff as propulsion as well. So this is also connected to that Lake Marabou, was another NASA scientist you can look up. If you let's see, let's go back to here. Okay, LeikMyrabo, and you can find a whole bunch of stuff on this as well. Energy beam highways through the skies, Lightcraft project, random distribution, reacting mixing layer model, performance modeling of experimental laser light crafts, performance modeling of an experimental laser propelled light craft. This is all on NASA. This is all declassified. It's just not shown, and it's not well known about by the public. It's just the scientific community who knows too much, who actually knows about this stuff. So, but yeah, let's dig in a little bit more. What else do we have? So that all that ramjet hydrogen propulsion, all this ramjet stuff is, and scramjet stuff is, believe that's all been thrown out. That's all 30-year-old DARPA reject technology. That's all the the stuff that we're being shown now because it's DARPA reject projects.
But you think that the ramjet hydrogen propulsion is related to that supercavitation technology that it's trying to deal with, how to maximize speed from these propulsion systems?
No, I think that's what that technology has been replaced with. So this the ramjet hydrogen propulsion system is like it uses hydrogen gas, or I don't know if it strips it out of the air or what, but it uses hydrogen gas. And these are all ideas that people thought of and tried, and again, this is put out to the public because it doesn't work, or it's not not practical. Okay, yeah. That's kind of how DARPA works.
Supposedly aircraft carriers use something called D.D technology that is like cavitating through the water. Have you ever heard about that?
What is it? What's the
okay? An aircraft carrier. Think of how massive they are and how heavy they are and how fast they go through the ocean. They use something called D.D technology. Look it up once. And it's supposedly a cavitation. It supposedly keeps about a foot space between the lower portion of the boat.
Really?
Aircraft carrier in the ocean. Yeah, D.D. But I've often wondered, wouldn't that cause it to sink? I mean, I don't know.
Kind of sounds like what the Tic Tac's doing when it goes in the water.
That Tic Tac, I believe Fravor. I mean, I know some people on here don't. I believe he's seen what he saw.
Yeah, didn't he say that? Like, I heard somebody talk about how the water looked like it moved out of the way.
Yes.
Well, there was no splash. There was no splash when these things were coming down from the air. Remember, the one guy said it was raining UFOs. I forget the name now. I don't want to get mixed up. There's like 6 names. Is it Kevin Day maybe?
This is the article. So if you go on the search for the drive blasting air in front of hypersonic vehicles with lasers, or type in blasting air. I usually just type in blasting air and it comes up. But basically, this will give you links to all the patents. This is an article by Brett Tingley. I've been talking to him. I'm going to get him on eventually. We've just both been super busy, but he's going to be on and be interviewed to talk about some of this stuff. But you can go into this.
You're not defeating gravity. You're getting rid of airflow in front of you, which you're getting rid of heat. You're getting rid of friction.
What you're doing is you're blasting microwaves into an isolated pocket and right in the nose cone in front of the craft. And what that does is it superheats the air so fast that it supercavitates and literally explodes in a bubble, like similar to that pistol shrimp.
Yeah.
The pistol shrimps. You ever heard of this? It knocks out its prey with the fastest snap.
Yeah,
it creates a snap that's so fast it creates a supercavitated bubble. So what happens is when you blast the air the same way, you put all that energy into a small space, it supercavitates and literally explodes out of the vacuum and evacuates the area.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be like going through a evacuated tube, right?
Yep, same idea. Yeah, but they're blasting it out the way using supercavitating technology right in front, like the same way that this thing creates this super cavitated little tiny current, which will knock out fish and disrupt them. They're creating these bubbles that they can, it super cavitates the air, and then they can fly through it.
What if that's what the Tic Tac's doing and it's ours?
Absolutely. I've been saying that it could be. I've been saying that it could be ours. There's technology that exists, and then I just laugh at when Lou Elizondo and these other guys get on these channels and these mainstream platforms and say that there's no technology on Earth that could explain this and all.
Yeah, I know.
You don't.
They would never, if it was real, they would never say.
They can't talk about this. Okay, this is real, and this is what they can't talk about. This is what's missing from the mainstream narrative. It's just, oh no, it's aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens, but I mean, there's nothing that we have or we could possibly imagine that could do this. Bullshit. It's all a lie. And I don't know. I have this whole even crazier theory that that all these UA, so they're putting up these UA tracking towers and stuff all around. Okay. I can't find much about this on Google and stuff, but I got a guy on I got UAP tracking. Where's this whole thing? So this guy's saying that they're installing a bunch of these tracking towers, these microwave radar domes, right? They're installing all these things apparently across the coast to track UAP, because they're like, oh, we're getting visited by these, and we're getting, these craft all over the place. So it's not this thing. It's like the one that they have on St. Clemente Island, where all these things are already being seen. This microwave radar dome.
Wow.
He gives me all access to it. It looks like one of these, and they're building a bunch of these. And these are like the kinds of, this is the thing that has the laser inside it that can project these UFOs onto the sky and also fake the radar data and stuff. And I have this whole theory that they're installing all these things around, saying that it's to track UFOs. But this could really be the setup for like the mass alien invasion, because they're setting up all these things supposedly to track UFOs, but they're really technologies to project them and create them. And if they get enough of these things around the country, supposedly to track UFOs, they can turn them all on and fake an alien invasion, which, numerous people, it's still on the table, okay? It's not outlandish. It's not fucking crazy. With this government,
it sounds pretty real to me. I mean, or it's a good hypothesis.
Well, I mean, after what I've learned about false flags and Building 7 and all the investigation there, I just can't put it past. I can't put anything past this government now. I just can't. So all cards are still on the table. And if anyone has something, any more information about any of these radar domes going up, take pictures and send it to me. I'm already getting some information coming in about all the stuff that they're setting up. I want to know details and the specs of what they're building and what the capabilities are of what they're putting in these towers, so that we can let people know, like, ahead of time, that this is not, they're saying they're doing one thing and they're really doing a whole nother.
I was looking at the Richard Dolan thing.
Yeah, let's go back to this.
Part about none of this stuff has been flown out of the Nellis test range, and none of the stuff the Navy is filming is what they're talking about. That kind of sounds like disinfo to me, man. You see that prototypes of the flying crafts utilizing the above technology are being flown at Area 51 at Tonopah test range. Some of the UAPs observed in Nevada can be contributed to crafts using the above propulsion systems. However, none of the experimental crafts have flown outside of Nellis test and training range. None of these experimental crafts can be contributed to the sightings photographed by the U.S. Navy. Now, I don't know about you, but that just sounds like a pile of crap to me right there.
What it sounds like to me is that one of those items listed has produced a flying craft. That's what it sounds like to me. But again, that's a big statement in the world of ufology right now, is that like the government has flying craft of advanced propulsion systems. Like, no one said that yet with a straight face.
So I knew about Lake Marabou, but this is cool about Kaio's song. I didn't know about this one too, so that's cool. I got some new stuff to dig into with number 8 there, the K song.
You know what this one is? I was most curious about that.
I'd never heard about it before, so I got to do some research into this Kaio song, because I'd never heard of him before. But he's a professor at NSU, and he did a lot of defense advanced research project studies on plasma drives and also NASA projects for hypersonic flow research. So this is definitely testing high temperature materials for scramjet engine components.
Hey.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, this is an interesting connection now. I'm gonna have to dig in. I love it when I find a new science.
Look at that, metamaterial is your favorite subject.
Oh gosh, that APEC conference on you guys had last week was great on that topic.
Absolutely, yeah. We're learning so much right from the real scientists, and this is great.
Jeremy, email this guy and see if he'll come on.
Oh, that would be great. Imagine
if he says no, then you know something's
I'm gonna call him up. I'm gonna call him up on his phone. Let's call him live right now. Let's call him live right now.
Yeah, do it. I want you to do that. Go ahead. This is great. Tell him you're up at Groom Lake and you need help with something. You're given his number.
Have him explain the technology.
Tell him you're with the D6 group.
All right. So yeah, let me call him up, man. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, call him up.
I'm gonna call him up right now. I'm live. 757. Wow, it went straight to voicemail. I bet you someone else is calling him too. We got the agent.
It's probably that stoner you've got down there that just smiled at the camera. Oh, that guy smokes a lot of herb.
Hey, Grandmaster, how high are you right now?
I can't believe you can buy a kilo of marijuana for prescription. He had one the other night.
Oh, that was the Kratom stuff, right? Do you need
Corbell's
number?
I think it was, what was it?
Hey, don't we have Corbell's number? Let's call Corbell up.
I do.
Let's get Jeremy.
I got his number. I used to talk to Corbell. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He avoids me lately. I tried to educate him on
Grandmaster's this.
Look at that stoner. Holy moly, man.
This guy, he sweats.
Do you get paid? Aren't you the guy that gets paid to sample weed and then you call him up, say how good it is or something? Is that you, Grandmaster UV?
It's like, is it drug testing today? What kind of drugs are we testing?
He's got a county prison shirt on.
Oh yeah. Well, we can't call Corbell because he's probably on TV giving lying on interviews.
Oh yeah, he's on freaking the morning show with what's that lady's name? Rosie O'Donnell probably right now.
Oh yeah. He's on with Rosie.
I'm sure he's on some show. He's been on a damn show every day. He's been on 24 hours. I wonder what they're paying him.
Oh, they
probably
must be
what
paying.
Grandmaster smokes in a day, ain't?
No, probably way more than that, dude.
I know he's getting paid.
He don't even like weed. He's more like he's probably more like one of those. I don't know. Didn't he like the pills?
I bet Corbellion loves weed.
Corbell.
I know Bob Lazar does.
Lazar smokes down. Smokes down.
It's on his wife's Facebook page. Or rolling joints and stuff. Pretty funny.
I don't hold that against.
I mean, that's the thing people don't realize. I'd love to meet Bob Lazar and sit down and talk to him. I'd probably get into.
I'd smoke a joint. Imagine, I bet you we could. I'd smoke a joint with Bob Lazar.
Hell yeah, it'd be fun sitting there talking to this guy.
I'd get stoned and have like a stone conversation with him. I don't know.
I'd ask him one question: Where was your favorite place to go to when you went to MIT to eat? What was your phone number?
Yeah,
what was your phone number? What was your address when you lived there? Got that 4-year engine. Got that 4-year degree.
I'll ask him to name 2 streets that intersect with Ames Street, or or just ask him about the general layout of the campus. What's in building 4.
Something tells me he would not be able to answer that. Right. Although Joe Rogan claims that what he was taught was so devastating that he's not allowed to tell the public why he was really there. So now the story's changed yet again. He told Chris Mellon that last, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, if he's on the TV doing the rounds, man, it's probably disinfo. anyways, classified advanced group 6. So I got to look into this advanced group 6. There's a little bit of things that I'm going to have to dig into here with this.
Jeremy, don't you find the bottom part of where it talks about Groom Lake and stuff, don't you find the bottom part of that very suspicious?
Yeah, it's almost
I mean,
like,
think about it. It's like, okay, that's what they want you all to think. I don't think there's much going on at Groom Lake anymore except weapons testing. I think it's been compromised too much for them to fly anything in the air. Hell, there's guys that got cameras on that thing all day. You know? All day, all night.
It's like we need to get a Bob Lazar, someone to tell a bunch of lies in order to get attention to all this stuff. It's like,
well, like I said, I think it's disinfo, and I think they took control of the narrative, and the narrative is, guess what? It's aliens. It's not us. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, that's what they keep saying. They leave all the technology out of this. Is the first I've seen about any technologies being mentioned, and this is like, there's no way this is a complete list of everything that they're looking at.
Yeah.
You know,
and Richard Dolan's God, so people are going to believe it.
Right. I don't
think
half the stuff that I've put out, they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Didn't his wife? Did his wife really leave him, or is that not true?
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that that they're going Tracy. Like,
God, I'd be really upset if she left me. Holy shit, she's pretty hot, man. I'd be jumping out the window. I'd be, I'd go nuts, man.
Yeah, he's got something about it.
It's not fun when a hot chick leaves you. It's never anything that you accept.
I don't know, man. I don't want to get into his personal life, and that's not what it's
Well,
about,
I just knew he was off the air for quite some time, right? And
yeah,
then I was told that she left him.
And then he came back and he said that, you know, like he's not with her now on the shows that he's doing. And I saw some post
where
on
she's
Twitter.
at.
He had some post on Twitter about this. I saw.
No, I feel bad for him. Wonder what happened.
I do too. He's not a bad guy. He just
No. I like Richard Dolan. I just don't think that anyone is the god guru of UFOs. I just don't.
No, we all have our own perspectives and pieces. And like I said, you know, I have my perspectives, and I try to separate my beliefs from, you know, the evidence, and say that, you know, I'm not, you know, so yeah.
That's why you're the science guy, man.
He's also invested in the extraterrestrial hypothesis a bit, yeah, because of all the
in
stuff
charge of
that
the
he's done.
UFO mafia, believe it or not. Maybe that's why she left. The UFO mafia had to talk with her, and it scared her.
He doesn't seem like he's super like phased or depressed, but
oh, believe me, he's probably on Xanax. Try mixing that with Jack Daniels before he comes on.
Hey, Jeremy, I gotta jump off, but one last thing.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Topic number 7, which was the juicy, you know, exotic elements. You know, I don't know if you've seen or know this guy, Jake Bro. He's got a YouTube channel. He went through and on the 29th did a whole segment on Bob Lazar's Element 115. And he made a really interesting comment about the potential usefulness.
Jake Bro?
Yeah, BROE.
BROE?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's he say?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, okay. So this
What's up?
Yeah,
this is
I thought it was really interesting. You know,
but again, none of this has 7 doesn't have to do with element 115.
No. He was speculating on the potential value for high proton elements that go beyond what's in our sort of local environment.
What did they say? Like antimatter costs $1 trillion a gram to make a gram of this stuff, and he's got these little triangles of this. How much would that cost to produce? The cost on that.
NASA has an estimate out there. I think it's more than that.
If he stole a piece of this, if it was real and he stole a piece of that, then the cost of that, the money is just the resources that they would expend to get that back. He wouldn't be on a video talking about it with Jeremy Corbell, and they would.
Yeah, they were machining it off onto the floor and sweeping it up into the. Well, I'm not even going to get into it. What I was told, it's ridiculous.
Shops. So yeah, all right. I don't believe it. I think that the advanced use of exotic elements. So it's not exotic elements. For energy research, the stuff that they're looking into is 0-point fields, and it's coherent matter, and it's all that liquid light stuff. Okay, liquid light and polariton, what's called polaritons and polariton condensate. So liquid light is basically well, not this liquid light, but what they do is when light hits an object and goes inside of it, it slows down or it changes speed based on the refractive index inside the object. But what you also have is a producer is what's called an exciton or polariton pair, and you can get a condensate going when you get enough of these excitons in a stable environment, and you get quantum entanglement in these surfaces and stuff. And so these are called what's called exciton polariton pairs. So a polariton is something that you excite this state inside the crystal structure so strongly that it becomes polarized. And if you get a polariton condensate, all kinds of exotic, this is the exotic energy or exotic mass that they're talking about. I don't know if it's not exactly an element, but so this is the real research. It's nothing to do with elements. This is the kind of research that I found that they're doing, and it's based on condensed light and creating what are called polaritons, which is a way to pull antimatter straight out of the vacuum, because you polarize the vacuum so strongly with these exciton pairs or this trapped light that you can actually pull positron electron pairs out of the vacuum by something called pair production. And this is pair production is a quantum process whereby you can turn light into electron positron pairs. And this is a similar process where they have a gamma ray hitting the nucleus and it creates a positron electron pair through pair production.
And they've produced antimatter this way.
So if you take enough of these photons and you pump them into this crystal and you get them going strongly enough, you create what are called particle antiparticle pairs or polaritons. And this polariton condensates. You can look up room temperature superconductivity in polariton condensate. Type in polariton condensate and room temperature superconductors. You'll get a bunch of hits.
So when these two collide, you have an antimatter reaction, the antiproton and the particle. I mean, the antiparticle and the particle.
Yes, and they just go right back into the vacuum. They come out of the vacuum and go back into the vacuum inside the material, okay, at the surface of the material. So you can create antimatter pairs and pull antimatter out of the vacuum on the surface of these things.
Wow.
Just using condensed light. So this is where a lot of the research goes into. I already talked about. I broke that case with the University of Wright State Patterson University. Air Force Research Labs contractor that was convicted back in February of taking documents home with them from the Air Force Research Labs. And this guy's name is Isaac Vincent Kemp, 35 of Fairborn, charged on January 25th, 2021. And you can go look up the court documents and the cases on this and find stuff on this. But this guy did his PhD thesis on surface plasmon polaritons. And he was working on this research for Air Force Research Laboratories when he was taking the documents home and got arrested. So it's definitely related to classified research. It's definitely related to advanced research projects that are going on at NASIC, which is the National Air and Space Intelligence Center. And it's definitely, the Air Force OSI was involved in the investigation into the missing document, or the documents that he was carrying home. So this is proof that there's classified research going on to this.
And it's proof that people get arrested.
Get arrested for this, and they don't get Bob Lazar.
They don't go on the damn news.
This is a real Bob Lazar. This guy is a real Bob Lazar, 35
What
years
charges
old.
is it? Is espionage or something? What?
I think they charge him with
State Secrecies Act.
inappropriately handling classified information. That's a charge like that. I think
That's probably 10 or 20 years in feds.
I don't think he's going to get that. I don't know. I feel like this guy knows too much, and they were like trying to keep a lid on this, and then it got out, and I don't know. It just seems like, because the first stories that they had, what they told the news media is that the guy was getting raided for marijuana plants that he's growing.
Oh, I remember when you told me about this guy. Yes.
Yeah. So they said that was like the first news articles, and then it came out, no, the Air Force OSI was there, because the media started like, well, why is the Air Force OSI going there looking for marijuana plants? And so like someone figured it out, and it came out, and luckily I found it and got a hold of it before it could be covered up. So it's out there now, and this is the real Bob Lazar. This is the real stuff that's being worked on. And again, thanks everyone out there. We got to wrap this up. And
thanks for the $100, man.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Colin, for
Colin is the man, dude. Thank you, brother.
That really helps out a lot.
Makes me feel like I haven't wasted years of my life.
Right.
See, that's why me and Jeremy are the way we are. We've been doing this. I mean, I know there's some people out there that are really young. When you do this for 20-some years, you'll become pissed off and irritated too. You really will.
I want to answer this. All right, I'm going to get off the air now.
Later, guys.
Is it Dr. Song?
It might be. All right, guys.